Welcome to the online class. Hello, my dear students. How are you? I think you all are keeping well by the grace of Almighty Allah. I am also fine. This is Hasina Islam, lecturer, Department of English, Tongi Government College, Gazipur. This lecture is for the students of Honors Second Year. Dear learners, in my live class, I have started Samuel Taylor Coleridge, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. And I told you in my next lecture I will give you the further information regarding this poem. So in my first lecture I have given you some important information and we have started reading the poem. Today we will enjoy reading the poem, and of course you have to listen to this poem very carefully. So here is the poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. In my previous lecture, I have told you about the story, the theme, form, and we have started from part 1. So, for your listening practice and for your better pronunciation, you have to listen to this poem very carefully. First of all, you may take help from your textbook or you may go through the PowerPoint presentation I have given here. Okay? So, follow the line very carefully. So, we are going to start from part 1. Everyone, please listen to this poem very carefully.
Long grey beard and thy glittering eye, now wherefore The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. It is an ancient mariner, and he stoppeth one of 3. By thy long grey beard and thy glittering eye, now wherefore stoppest me? Bridegroom's doors are opened wide, and I am next of kin. The guests are met, the feast is set, mayst hear the merry din. But still he holds the wedding guest. There was a ship, quoth he. Nay, if thou'st got a laughsome tale, mariner, come with me. He holds him with his skinny hand. Quoth he, there was a ship. Now get thee hence, thou grey-beard loon, or my staff shall make thee skip. He holds him with his glittering eye. The wedding guest stood still, and listens like a 3 years child. The mariner hath his will. The wedding guest sat on a stone, he cannot choose but hear. And thus spake on that ancient man, the bright-eyed mariner. The ship was cheered, the harbour cleared, merrily did we drop below the kirk, below the hill, below the lighthouse top. The sun came up upon the left, out of the sea came he, and he shone bright, and on the right went down into the sea. Higher and higher every day, till over the mast at noon. The wedding guest here beat his breast, for he heard the loud bassoon. The bride hath paced into the hall, red as a rose is she. Nodding their heads before her goes the merry minstrelsy. The wedding guest he beat his breast, yet he cannot choose but hear. And thus spake on that ancient man, the bright-eyed mariner. Listen, stranger, storm and wind, the wind and tempest strong. For days and weeks it played us freaks, like chaff we drove along. Listen, stranger, mist and snow, and it grew wondrous cold. That ice mast high came floating by, as green as emerald. And through the drifts, the snowy cliffs, did send a dismal sheen. No shapes of men nor beasts we ken, the ice was all between. The ice was here, the ice was there, the ice was all around. It cracked and growled and roared and howled, like noises in a swound. At length did cross was an albatross. Thorough the fog it came. And an it were a Christian soul, we hailed it in God's name. The mariners gave it biscuit worms, and round it flew. The ice did split with a thunder fit. The helmsman steered us through. And a good south wind sprung up behind. The albatross did follow. And every day for food or play came to the mariner's hollow. In mist or cloud, on mast or shroud, it perched for vespers 9. Once all the night through fog smoke white glimmered the white moonshine. God save thee, ancient mariner, from the fiends that plague thee thus. Why look'st thou so? With my crossbow I shot the albatross. The sun came up upon the right, out of the sea came he, and broad as a weft upon the left went down into the sea. And the good south wind still blew behind, but no sweet bird did follow, nor any day for food or play came to the mariner's hollow. And I had done an hellish thing, and it would work 'em woe, for all averred I had killed the bird that made the breeze to blow. Nor dim nor red, like God's own head, the glorious sun uprist. Then all averred I had killed the bird that brought the fog and mist. 'Twas right, said they, such birds to slay that bring the fog and mist. The breezes blew, the white foam flew, the furrow followed free. We were the first that ever burst into that silent sea. Down dropped the breeze, the sails dropped down. It was sad as sad could be, and we did speak only to break the silence of the sea. All in a hot and copper sky, the bloody sun at noon, right up above the mast did stand, no bigger than the moon. Day after day, day after day, we stuck, nae breath, nae motion, as idle as a painted ship upon a painted ocean. Water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nae any drop to drink. The very deeps did rot, O Christ, that ever this should be. Yea, slimy things did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. About in reel and rout the death fires danced at night. The water, like a witch's oils, burned green and blue and white. And some in dreams assured were of the spirit that plagued us so. 9 fathom deep he had followed us from the land of mist and snow. And every tongue through utter drouth was withered at the root. We could not speak no more than if we had been choked with soot. Oh, well a day, what evil looks had I from old and young. Instead of the cross, the albatross about my neck was hung. I saw a something in the sky, no bigger than my fist. At first it seemed a little speck, and then it seemed a mist. It moved, and took at last a certain shape, I wist. A speck, a mist, a shape, I wist. And still it neared and neared, and an it dodged a water sprite, it plunged and tacked and veered. With throat unslaked, with black lips baked, ne could we laugh, ne wail. Then while through droughts all dumb they stood, I bit my arm, and sucked the blood, and cried, a sail, a sail. With throat unslaked, with black lips baked, agape they heard me call. Gramercy, they for joy did grin, and all at once their breath drew in, as they were drinking all. She doth not tack from side to side, hither to work us wheel, withouten wind, withouten tide, she steadies with upright keel. The western wave was all aflame, the day was well nigh done, almost upon the western wave rested the broad, bright sun, when that strange shape drove suddenly betwixt us and the sun. And straight the sun was flecked with bars. Heaven's mother send us grace, as if through a dungeon grate he peered with broad and burning face. Alas, thought I, and my heart beat loud, how fast she nears and nears. Are those her sails that glance at the sun like restless gossamers? Are these her naked ribs, which flecked the sun that did behind them peer? And are these two all the crew? And woman, and her fleshless fear? His bones were black, with many a crack, all black and bare, I ween, jet black and bare, save where with rust of mouldy damps and charnel crust they're patched with purple and green. Her lips are red, her looks are free, her locks are yellow as gold, her skin is white as leprosy, and she is far like her death than he. Her flesh makes the still air cold. The naked hulk alongside came, and the twain were playing dice. The game is done, I've won, quoth she, and whistled thrice. A gust of wind stirred up behind, and whistled through his bones, through the holes of his eyes and the whole of his mouth, half whistles and half groans. With never a whisper in the sea, off darts the spectre ship, while clomb above the eastern bar the horned moon, with one bright star almost atween the tips. One after one by the horned moon, listen, O stranger, to me. Each turned his face with a ghastly pang, and cursed me with his eve. 4 times 50 living men, with never a sigh or groan, with heavy thump, a lifeless lump, they dropped down, one by one. Their souls did from their bodies fly, they fled to bliss or woe, and every soul passed me by like the whiz of my crossbow.
So, my dear students, I have told you to listen to this poem very carefully. Of course, you have to go through the lines, and today we are going to finish up to part 3. In our next class, I will start from part 4, and I will give you a detailed summary from each of the part, that is from part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4, in this way. And of course we will try to know about the critical summary and some important questions from this poem. And of course you have to take help from your textbook, and of course you have to follow my lecture, and better you will try to find out some meaning of the words, unknown words, if it is possible. And then I will discuss each of the stanzas from here. And till then, everyone, please thank you and have a nice day. And I think you will follow my lecture, you will join the live class and also the video classes. Thank you, have a nice day.